Welcome to the Ada K Show. I'm your host, Ada K, and I am a criminal justice major. I am also a deaf courtroom commentator, breaking down the gripping courtroom drama while providing full ASL interpretation, making justice accessible to everyone. Grab a cup of Java and let's dive in. And don't forget, comment, like, and subscribe. And if you love this channel, please become a member. Hey guys, I don't know what's going on. Something's weird is happening. I'm going, wow, give me a minute. I'm going to go to the other, go check my stream out because this is crazy because it's doubled on my screen. I don't know what's happening. It looks like there's, okay, it's good on your end, so I'm not going to worry about it at this point. It's like everything is doubled. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ada K. Yes, it has gotten glitchy this morning. Oh my gosh, it's gotten glitchy. Yeah, it's gotten real glitchy because I don't know what's going on. I wasn't supposed to be live today, but I'm live. We're here because we have a sentencing today. Matthew Pahl was convicted, and we are going to be doing his sentencing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a quick case breakdown. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into sentencing. I know they've started. I want to give a little bit of a, that's what I'm looking for, a little bit of room just in case something comes up and we need to take care of it. So I'm going to give me a little bit of breathing room. All right, so let me go in and let me give you a little bit of case detail because we really didn't follow this case, but I wanted to, I know a lot of you did, and I wanted to come live and I wanted to share this with y'all. So Matthew Pahl's case breakdown is the defendant is named Matthew Pahl, Pahl, not sure if I'm saying it right, convicted and awaiting sentencing. The charges, well, first degree redrum, abuse of a child, and other applicable charges. Each charge carries a specific sentence guidelines depending on the state law. Here's the background of the case. The case revolves around the abuse of a child. It's horrible. It drew public attention and due to shocking and circumstances and etc. So right now, the victim age in relationship to the what is going on? Everything's all my notes are jumbled. I don't know what's going on with this. All right, let me get this up and going again. Let me try this again. I have my notes, but it's all jarbled. Okay, here we go. All right, now I got it. I unjumbled everything. My apologies, y'all. You know what? I thought I was going to go do a quick live, and the gremlins decided to attack me greatly. So here we go. Matthew Pahl is 57 years old. Stephanie Pavilion's a longtime friend of Pahl's is the victim. The location, the body was found in the wooded area in the town of Delafield, in Wisconsin. They were last seen, Pavilion was last seen alive August 23rd of 22. Her body was found by construction workers September 9th of 22. He is charged and found guilty of first-degree intentional homicide, hiding of a corpse. So here's the timeline. August 23rd of 2022, surveillance shows that Pelvon's leaving her apartment with her purse and water bottle. Shortly afterward, Paul leaves separately. September 9th of 22, the body was discovered in, oh, I do remember this case. The body was discovered in, ding, 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 ding. September 17th of 22, the interview of Paul search warrants was executed. On September 23rd, Paul was charged, or Pahl was charged. Hello. So I got some new people in here. Hello, hello. I'll do more acknowledging after I finish reading because right now I've got my notes up. The sentencing, well, is today, of course. Now, here's some of the key elements. Surveillance video of Pavlon's and Paul's leaving the apartment about the same time. Paul's returned alone, later carrying Pavlon's water bottle and purse. Cell phone data, both phones pinging the same area on the 23rd. Large message deletion, nearly over 1,000 messages by Paul's device was deleted. Journals and photos of Pavlon's diary documented abuse, bruises, and near scarred notations. They were digital searches on Paul's phone, showed search for dead body found in construction crew, obituaries, and the use of police scanner after the disappearance. Now, the body was severely decomposed. Cause and manner of death was undetermined. The defendant's arguments and mitigating factors. There's no direct DNA connecting Paul to the killing. No eyewitness to homicide. Body was too decomposed to determine cause of death. Haviland had a history of mental health challenges and self-unaliving attempts, which defendant argued could explain her death. Paul claimed he was at a doctor physical therapy appointment at the time. He had a broken foot when Pavlon disappeared. The allegations are that Paul strangled Pavlon with her purse strap after she tried to leave him. They say that he hid her body in the woods and never reported her missing. They paint the relationship as abusive. Pavlon's mother testified that the couple was unhealthy. In Wisconsin, first-degree intentional homicide can carry mandatory life in prison. The jury deliberated for only about an hour before returning the guilty verdict on all accounts. Gosh, I do remember this now. Why is all this significance? In this case, it built heavily on circumstantial evidence, no DNA linking the defendant to the unaliving, and no established cause of death. Yet the prosecution convinced the jury he was guilty. It touches the theme of domestic abuse, surveillance, and digital forensic played a key role in this modern homicide investigation. The fact that Paul never reported her missing and had digital fingerprint searching for obituaries and body discovery terms raised the red flags for the jury and the prosecution. So that is where we are, y'all. Let me get to y'all. I want to welcome Sarah. And hello, it's Brit. I don't understand why it's double posting everything. Hello, Tracy the Case. And okay, I got to read this. I'm just going to call you Rit Boo. Thank you so much for joining. We are in Texas, Central Texas. The stream is in wrong operation there too. I can't do anything. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I don't understand, Angela. If you're live on YouTube is off too when looking, I need you to be more clear. I don't know what that means. Oh, I know what's happening. Hold on. I know what's happening. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. It's got this new landscape horizontal portrait thing going on, and it won't let me edit it. It's a new feature. Why can I not edit it live? I can't fix this one. Hold on, I'm looking. Okay. So I'm going to edit this. Give me a second. I think I know how to fix this. It won't let me. Okay, I'm going to have to roll with this, boo. I can't fix this. It won't let me. It won't let me. All right, we're going to go ahead and go over here. I know there's two of these. I don't know what's going on. It's driving me crazy. It's a new feature. I can't change it. But it's okay. That's all I can say. We'll be fine. All right, let's get into the sentencing. They have come into the court. We are a little bit into the delayed, but that's okay. I want to have a little cushion. And here we go. No sound yet.
To our right is our client, Mr. Pahl, in custody. Good afternoon, Judge.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. The matter is here for sentencing today. Has the state complied with victim notification requirement, ma'am?
Yes, Judge, the victims are just coming into court now. All of the victims are going to be present in person, not by Zoom.
Okay.
I don't know why it did it.
In
Not
your
my
knowledge, do any of them wish to make a statement today?
I have a written statement from Miss Layla, who would like this. I will be reading her statement for her, but none of the other family members wish to make a statement to the court.
Okay. From the state's perspective, is there anything we need to take up before we start with sentencing?
I do have a restitution figure.
All right, and have you shared that with the defense?
Okay. Yes, we have shared that with the defense.
All right, and what is the amount?
$8,309, and that is for the cost of funeral expenses.
Okay. And is there a dispute as to that amount?
I've never seen this.
Okay, that's fine. We can talk to your client about it later on, and I can set a hearing if we need to do that, okay? Anything else other than that, Ms. Gordon?
No, Judge, I believe all the victims are in the courtroom now.
Okay, Mr. Gallagher.
Okay, if you have the what's called the vertical, which would be used for other media formats, it's a new thing that they're doing. I think that's glitching in StreamYard. There's a second video up. Go click on that second video and it'll be the normal one. My apologies. I'm going to go make some alterations here.
Please, anything before we start, sir?
Apparently, Mr. Pahl is discussed something about PSI that he wants to put on the tape, on the record. I think
What's going on, Mr. Gallagher? You're the lawyer. You tell me. You can talk to your client, but let me know.
Okay, now they're having a little private moment. I am apologizing about the other thing. I have no control over that. This is a new feature in this StreamYard. And I can't do anything about it. I don't know why it did it. It's new to me. So hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We're going to zoom while they have a little chit chat.
Mr. Wolf, Mr. Gallagher.
Judge, I don't think Mr. Paul knows what he wants to do with the PSIs, so I think we've advised him not to request a PSI.
All right, my intent is to move forward today.
Good.
All right,
Yes,
anything
sir.
else, Mr. Delarose?
No, sir.
All right, there's a couple of things that I have to take up first and foremost, because, Mr. Paul, you've been convicted of a felony offense. You may not vote in any election until your civil rights are restored. And because you've been convicted of a felony, it is unlawful for you to possess a firearm. If you ever possess a firearm, you could be found guilty of a serious offense, resulting in up to a 10-year term of imprisonment and a $25,000 fine or both. And because you've been convicted of a violent felony, it is unlawful for you to possess body armor. Those are admonitions that are required by law that I have to advise. All right, state's ready to move forward?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's go.
Thank you, Judge. The state is making a recommendation of life without the possibility of parole. As the court knows, on count one, having been found guilty, the court can make three determinations. First, determine if the defendant is eligible for parole after 20 years. Two, by some other date, or third, not eligible at all. And the state is making the third request that the court find the defendant not eligible for parole.
Extended supervision.
Sorry, correct.
Correct.
Yes, thank you. On count two, a class F felony, the state is asking for the maximum sentence consecutive to the life without possibility of extended supervision. We have consulted with the victims. The victims are in agreement with this. Judge, you've heard all of the evidence. And I think the only thing the court hasn't heard is about Mr. Pahl's prior record. He has a 2005 conviction for resisting or obstructing, and he has a 1989 conviction for 3 counts of delivery of cocaine. He was sentenced to 15 years of prison in 1989, and he was in and out of prison for a number of probation or parole violations during that time. He had also been charged with physical abuse of a child. Him and Ms. Pavlons were both charged with physical abuse of a child related to Layla. That was ultimately dismissed as part of an agreement with the state. He also had a 2012 charge for possession of controlled substance along with that incident. But most importantly, in 1993, he was investigated for first-degree intentional homicide. He was ultimately never charged. That was in Milwaukee. And as part of this investigation, the state reviewed those police reports to determine know a little bit more about Mr. Pahl. But also, as the court may remember, the state had sought to introduce some evidence from Tanya Bean, which was Mr. Pahl's ex-girlfriend, as part of other acts evidence. And ultimately, the court found that that was too remote in time. But I think that this investigation that Milwaukee completed with Mr. Pahl as the prime suspect just shows the violence that the defendant has had for his entire life. And the gist of that case was that Mr. Pahl and Miss Bean were dating. Miss Bean had a bit of a controlled substance problem, and the person that was ultimately killed was Miss Bean's drug dealer. And there was a dispute about whether Miss Bean was cheating on Mr. Pahl with the drug dealer. And there was not enough evidence to charge Mr. Pahl with first-degree intentional homicide, but he was ultimately referred over to the Milwaukee DA's office, and he was the only suspect in that case. Here, Judge, we have a long history of domestic violence. And as the court knows, even though it was not admitted at trial, there's a history of domestic violence going back even to Tanya Bean, the girlfriend Mr. Pahl had prior to Ms. Pavlons. And the history continued for Ms. Pavlon's entire dating history with Mr. Pahl. And as the court knows, more than even what the jury knows, because there was a lot of other acts evidence that the state presented to the court that was ultimately maybe not admitted to the jury for different reasons. But I think it shows that Mr. Pahl is a violent and abusive man. He is the epitome of domestic violence. And as I made my arguments and closing arguments, it's very clear that on August 23rd of 2022, Mr. Pahl was met with the decision: either let Ms. Pavlons leave him or take action into his own hands. And he took action into his own hands that day. He was not going to allow Ms. Pavlons to walk away from this relationship even though he maybe didn't want to be with her, even though he wanted to go to the Philippines. I think that he is absolutely a danger to the public. He's absolutely a danger to any woman he would ever become in a relationship with in the future, which is why I'm asking that the court not make him eligible for extended supervision, because I do think that there's just absolutely no question in my mind, based on his conduct in this case, that he cannot be in the community in the future. I'm asking that the court sentence the defendant to a consecutive sentence on the hiding a corpse, because I think that charge makes this case all the more aggravated. Ms. Pavlon's decomposed in the woods for 17 days. There was evidence of significant insect activity over those 17 days, and ultimately her demise became very difficult for the state to prove the cause of death, the manner of death, because of the actions of hiding her body in that wooded area. And clearly the jury found very quickly that not only did Mr. Pahl kill Ms. Pavlons, but he also hid her body. He put it in a place where no one was going to find it. And that place was really almost in plain sight, right? There's a lot of people that come and go from that area, but for 17 days, no one found Ms. Pavlons. I believe that that charge is very aggravated. That aggravates this whole situation, and certainly changed the amount of evidence the state was able to find forensically on Ms. Pavlon's body at the time of her autopsy. That contributed obviously to the state needing to have a forensic entomologist, a forensic anthropologist, just to determine what happened to Ms. Pavlons. I do have a statement from Ms. Layla Pavlons that I would like to read. She says, "She was my mother. She was a daughter. A 22-year-old woman should not be going through losing a mother at 44, and my grandparents should not be going through losing their second child. I could see you hurt her. I do not know why she would tolerate your abuse, and I might never know why. What kind of sick monster would do that to an innocent woman that spent her life with you, cared for you, and was there for you when she could be? You have no soul. You killed the one person that made me happy and was there for me at times I needed her. The one mother, the one daughter of my grandparents is gone. I feel like it was on me to push her harder to leave you. Our family should not be going through this pain that you have caused, and it can't be undone. A man that hits and abuses an innocent woman is not a man, but a weak, sick-minded individual. A woman that had a daughter died because of you. She was in pain. I could see it by the way she talked about you. I could see it when I visited. You took an innocent woman's life and hurt so many people. I hope you rot in jail." I think the pain that Layla Pavlons and the Pavlons family feels of the actions of the defendant is so real. And Layla's right. A woman was taken much too early. She lost her life, her daughter lost her mother, and her parents lost their daughter. It's an unimaginable situation for Layla to be sitting here in court today on the sentencing of her father for killing her mother. Two people that should love each other, should love and protect her, have now placed her in this very terrible position. Mr. Pahl doesn't even really accept his sense of being a father to Layla. They'd had no contact in years, and you saw those texts to those women. He called Layla his niece rather than saying that that's his daughter. Mr. Pahl did terrible things to his family, but most of all, he did terrible things to Stephanie. And I believe that he should sit in prison for the rest of his life and have to think about what he did and what he's done to Ms. Pavlon's family, because that will never, no amount of jail time, no amount of prison time will bring her back, but there will be some justice for Stephanie. So Judge, I am asking that you run those sentences consecutive to one another. As the evidence showed, this was a circumstantial case, but one that clearly the jury felt was overwhelming, that within an hour they were able to come to the decision that Mr. Pahl was absolutely the person that killed Stephanie Pavlons, that he had made her life miserable for years, and that he then hid her body. Mr. and Mrs. Pavlons are asking for $8,309 in restitution for funeral costs. So we are asking that come out of Mr. Paul's prison wages in the future. And I just want to check with the family and make sure that they don't want to make any statements.
All right, go ahead.
In speaking with Mr. and Mrs. Pavlon through the course of this investigation, it took a long time to bring Mr. Paul to charges and ultimately for him to be sentenced here today. I know that they feel a great sense of relief that this is over, but also that they have lost something so precious to them. And they were hearing for the first time in court some of these horrible acts of domestic violence that were occurring to Stephanie. And that loss will never be undone. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. I calculated 792 days credit. He was taken into custody September 19th of 2023.
September 18th of 2023.
Anyway, you can calculate that as well. Mr. Galloway, Mr. Wolf.
Judge, I'll accept the court's number of 792 as
Right.
credit. As far as sentencing, given the state's theory in this case in the rebuttal, this was not a first-degree intentional homicide. If you follow their theory, this was at best a first-degree reckless homicide or a felony murder, not first-degree intentional. So I think that's an issue for appellate purposes. Also, given their theory, I made a mistake by never testing that purse. Never in my wildest dream did I think the state was going to argue that Miss Pavlons was strangled with the chain of the purse. That didn't even make sense to me when she was making that argument. And then you threw the purse in the car, and that's why the dog hit on the car. I'm not sure why the jury accepted that at all. It didn't make sense to me at all. So I made a mistake in this case by never testing that purse. Had I known that was going to be their theory, I don't think they knew at all that was going to be their theory until sometime during their case in chief or while we were presenting their defense. But that's going to be an appellate issue. As far as the court considering the Bean incident, I don't think you can, Judge. I mean, if the Milwaukee Police Department and the DA's office believe that they didn't have probable cause to even charge Mr. Paul, which is a low burden, sentencing courts have indicated that the court shouldn't consider that if it's not even probable cause. But ultimately, you are the gatekeeper in this case. As far as Mr. Paul being a father, how he was as a father, I guess it goes to his character, but there's a lot of unfit fathers in this world. As the court has run into many of them who sit at this table as defendants. Mr. Paul is, I'm not sure what to say, he's still claiming his innocence. Given the position of the state in its argument at closing and the issues that it's raised on appeal, as far as in my negligence of not testing that purse, I'm hoping that the court gives the defendant the mandatory minimum. Other than that, I have nothing else to say. Mr. Paul may wish to give a statement. I'll leave it up to him.
All right, Mr. Paul, do you wish to make a statement, sir? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
First, I just want to correct some of the puke coming out of Gordon's mouth. Whatever this 2012, I mean, this is how this stuff starts, this fabrication, these wild stories, wild imagination. I was never charged with any possession in 2012. I believe that was Stephanie. In this 93 police report, I read that there were many suspects in there, and I had nothing to do with anything that happened down there. I didn't commit any murder in Milwaukee. And this stuff about being a parent, I was only a parent till Layla was about 9 years old. I was never given a chance to be a parent after that age because of all the goofy stuff that was happening here in court with the chips and custody and all that. And one of the state doctors that was prescribing Layla medication ended up losing his license because he was over prescribing to minors. I think that's one of the reasons why Layla was on so much medication when she was younger. He was never charged, but he lost his license. His name was Dr. Ronald Rubin. I mean, you can look into that. And that was one of the people that actually made decisions about my character. And, you know, I mean, we could go into a rabbit hole about his character. And I just want to make a statement about this case. I look at the justice system here in the United States. It's about winning. It's not about the truth. The U.S. has 4% of the world's population. 20% of the people behind bars on this planet are here in the United States or on probation. Why? Maybe sham trials. And I think this was definitely a sham trial called Making a Murderer here in Waukesha. It was definitely a pseudo sham trial where psychopaths in suits fabricate extreme circumstantial events and turn them into their wild imagination. No wonder why they get away with manufacturing charges. The public and jury believe these lies and story. Missing in this whirlwind of hysterical hyperbole was I was seen with 3 little green men hovering above the woods in a dish-shaped object going down in a beam of light. The good old boys, for some reason, didn't focus on the truth that the scalpel found in the woods was most likely used by Stephanie's own hand, and then possibly a seizure, because I was never in the woods. The dog and truck was prejudiced against me. It was just blatantly silly and probably thought out in advance. The detectives tried to alter the suicide note right here in court, right before the court's eyes. Crazy enough, Stephanie's heroin and drug charges back in 2013, the same DA's office wanted Stephanie in prison for a long time or institutionalized and considered her dangerous. Maybe if these so-called professionals did their job, we wouldn't be here. How deep does this rabbit hole go? Well, maybe one day on review for this huge blunder, these people here better have the right answers, because I am the only victim here. I'm the one being murdered by the new Gestapo. All the testimony showed no smoking gun, except the police think or thought I did something. This is prosecution, not justice, by a tyrannical fascist dictator government here in Waukesha. Coming to my house with a tank and then wondering why I couldn't remember accurate details about the person phone. It's amazing I can remember anything. Yes, I did exhibit some odd, maybe strange paranoid behavior by not calling the police. But if you look at my past cases fabricated against me, where I told the truth and I was still charged. Also, Stephanie was involved in some of that fabrication too. This took years off my life fighting. Opera and the Klan know what I mean. The mark on Layla's butt, alleged that was never there. Punching a man, breaking a window. I was never there at the time. Just like this case, I was never in the woods. This is just a pattern of abuse of power in the DA's office. Statements I was accused of saying, I am in trouble, I will be ready for police, and many more came from Opera's delusional mind. Detectives making Layla believe she will get money if I am convicted was a sick tactic. She will hopefully one day see the truth. And before this incident happened, I can honestly say she was never there for her mother. I mean, if you see the text messages, she sent a lot of nasty messages to her mother. And I'm ashamed that she's my daughter and part of the Pavlon's clan.
Holy. I mean, everything is going. Stop. Everything's going nuts. He is going for blood. He's going for blood. Oh my gosh, y'all. Y'all. It be like, y'all, he's going for blood.
I'd like to say more on that, but not now. Stephanie and I now. Stephanie and I had some fights, as in any relationship, but never to the level of murder. Texts about alleged violence were over exaggerated. She used to tell me all the time, and my family, that her father used to beat her. Is it true? I don't know. I do know that drug addicts will say anything to get sympathy and attention. When I first met Stephanie, I helped her get off drugs, drinking. I got her a job, a car. I got her license back, and out of a gang in Milwaukee. Her mother knows how she broke her wrist. Off drugs and alcohol, Stephanie was a kind, giving, and loving woman. We were separated since 2012, but we still loved each other and would have taken a bullet for each other. She would never have wanted me in this situation. I love and miss the drug-free, hype-free side of Stephanie. However, I became tired of her problems and addiction. Her constantly taking off, hiding with her medications, all the erratic behavior she exhibited. I was supposed to bring her home on.
Okay, this is the sentencing phase of the Matthew Pahl trial, where he red roomed his girlfriend and hid her body in the woods. He was found guilty, and now this is his statement. And my God, is it crazy?
The
Crazy.
23rd, but the truth is she did not want to go because she hated her parents.
7510.
I wish I could have skipped my appointment at OPA and figured out some way how I could have helped her more. And I believe the parents knew that she was going to die. That's one of the first things that the mother said, that she was feeling that her daughter was going to die, either suicide or an OD. I am one of the innocent people in jail from a sham trial. You know, maybe I'll be on wrongful conviction someday. I don't know. But I would, again, like I said in my statement to the detectives, I'd rather stand with God and be judged by the people than stand with the people and be judged by God. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Galavis, anything else?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. All right, so when I sentence an individual, and whether it be for, you know, drunken driving, a lower level offense, a retail theft, or as in this case, first degree intentional homicide in the charge in count 2, hiding a corpse, there's certain criteria that every court is supposed to look at, and which I do look at and consider. I abbreviate them by indicating that I look at the impact on the community, the criminal, the individual, Mr. Pahl himself, and the nature of the offense. And I'm going to talk about those things as we move forward. And I'm going to talk about some of the other aspects of this trial, the individual aspects of this trial that came into play. And I'm also going to take into consideration the statements made by the victims, Layla Pahl's, the statements made by the state, the statements made by defense counsel, and Mr. Pahl, of course, himself. Those are all things that I consider. So let's talk about first what the community impact is. And first, we have to frame what these offenses are. The legislature has indicated that in count 1, this court is required to impose a term of life imprisonment. And then pursuant to 973.014 of the Wisconsin statutes, I can make a determination about the availability of extended supervision, or the eligibility for extended supervision. And that's something that the court takes into consideration today as well. I also look at the nature of the second count. It has as a potential penalty 12 and a half years of imprisonment, meaning 7.5 years initial confinement, 5 years of extended supervision. That is the potential. And the court can make a determination as to whether the sentences can be consecutive or concurrent as well. So there are things that I need to consider here. And there are certain factors that I have to look at in making those considerations in terms of how I'm going to structure a sentence or sentences in this case. Let's go back to the community issues. First of all, when I talk about community, what I mean to say is both the community as a whole, Waukesha County, the city of Waukesha, the people in and around this area. I also look at the Pavlon's family members. I know that the parents have been here, and I know that Layla Pavlon's has been here, and their testimony was part and parcel, or not necessarily their testimony, but their presence in the case was part and parcel of what occurred here. And I look at the statement made by Layla Pavlon's because it pertains to both her mother, the victim, and her father, the convicted defendant in this case. And so what she has had to say to me and her wishes are important to the court. Let's take a look first at the community as a whole. And I think when I do that, the way I have to frame that is looking at what was said and what was proved and what was determined during the course of the trial and how that impacts the community first as a whole. Now, granted, we understand that the death of Stephanie Pavlon's has a profound effect on her parents and her daughter as well. And whatever the relationship they had, and whether it was antagonistic at times, whether it was loving at times, or whether it was a combination of those things, the parents lost a daughter, the daughter lost a mother, and it apparently has a profound impact on them. But again, let's take a look at the community. What I see in this case is domestic violence. And what I see in this case is an individual, Mr. Pahl, who did what he could to exhibit or to exert power and control over Stephanie Pavlon's over the years, over the decades, perhaps. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. And so I'm very cognizant of the fact that when I sentence Mr. Pahl as an individual, that I'm sentencing Mr. Pahl as an example of a domestic abuser, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move forward. And so when I sentence him, I'm making a statement to Layla Pavlon's, to Stephanie's parents, and I'm making a statement to the community as a whole as well. Let's look at Mr. Pahl and his criminal history, and let's look at Mr. Pahl as an individual. Now, although I didn't hear much about his pro-social activities that he may have been engaging in, whether he was working, whether he was contributing to the community in some way, there may have been that. But what I heard about mostly is today a history of criminal behavior. And what's important to me, and I want to be really very, very clear here, reference was made to this 1993 investigation into a first-degree intentional homicide. I am not considering that as a factor in terms of sentencing today. I can, and I would if I knew more about it, and if I had more information. And again, I know that in the motions prior to the trial, that issue was raised, but I never felt that I had a familiarity with it to make any consideration, and I do not consider it at the time of sentencing today. But what I do consider is prior correctional experience, right? I know that there was a conviction in 1989. There was a apparent misdemeanor conviction in 05, and there was a prison term and then in and out for violations. That's what I was advised by the state today. So that says something to me. There's a history of criminal convictions. There's a history of behavior while under the supervision of the Department of Corrections that was not optimal, to say the least, right? Let's look at Mr. Pahl's support. I don't have any support. I don't have any family members. I know someone was here for him during the course of the trial, but I don't know of anybody who's going to say, you know, if Mr. Pahl comes back to the community, we're going to make sure that, you know, we're going to support him. We're going to make sure that he stays out of trouble. I don't have that. And so I have a lack of information about his ability to reintegrate into the community and be a productive member of the community. Now, let's take a look at the crime. And when I say let's take a look at the crime, or crimes I should say, there's a couple different levels that I look at. First of all, I look at the law, the black and white about the crimes. We have first-degree intentional homicide, which requires, which mandates a life sentence. The law says, the legislature said, this is what you have to order. The legislature also said that pursuant to 973.014, the court may or could exercise its discretion and provide for an opportunity or eligibility for extended supervision after a minimum of 20 years in terms of initial confinement. So there's that. That's what the legislature told me. They said, this is a serious offense. It merits, Judge, you don't have a choice. You have to impose a life sentence, but you can find somebody eligible for extended supervision at some time after 20 years. That's a possibility. We look at count 2, and again, I indicated 12 and a half years imprisonment, 7.5 initial confinement, 5 years extended supervision, and I have the option of ordering that be consecutive or concurrent as well. So that's the framework. That's what the legislature said. These are serious criminal charges and offenses. And then I also look at the crime in and of itself. So what happened here, right? Mr. Pahl and Ms. Pavlons had a long, decades-long, tumultuous relationship. It was a relationship that certainly had some bright spots. Mr. Pahl said that himself today. But this relationship that was perceived by this court in the course of trial and by the jurors, or perhaps, as one that where Mr. Pahl exerted financial control over Ms. Pavlons, or where Mr. Pahl exerted emotional control over Ms. Pavlons, where Mr. Pahl exerted control over Ms. Pavlons' medication, where he exerted abusive and violent physical control over Ms. Pavlons. And again, we have those diaries from 2020 and 2021 that made reference to those beatings. I can't characterize them as anything else other than beatings that he administered to her to, perhaps in his mind, correct her behavior, to control her, to do, in his mind, what was the right thing for her or him. So he exerted that control. And again, I think as Ms. Gordon said, and I strenuously object to the term that it was puke from Ms. Gordon's mouth, because it is classic examples of domestic violence: power and control, financial control, emotional control, physical control. That's what we're talking about, right? So that's the kind of life that Stephanie Pavlons lived. All these behaviors are consistent with classic examples of power and control and domestic violence visited by the defendant on Stephanie Pavlons. And sadly and tragically, when she decided to terminate the relationship, and I make reference to the note in the trunk, and again, the suggestion that evidence was created or manufactured or altered is, in this court's estimation, pure nonsense, except as it pertains to Mr. Pahl, who attempted to refashion, who attempted to create, who attempted to alter evidence to throw suspicion away from him. That's who is responsible for manufacturing or creating or altering evidence. So that note was important because it is a contemporaneous note, as we can understand it from the facts in this case, where Ms. Pavlon said, I've had enough of this. I'm finished with this. I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick of it all. Here's how you get access to the money. Here's the PIN number. Here's how you get access to such and such account. This was her attempt to leave. This was her attempt to exert her independence from Mr. Pahl. And this resulted in his exerting the ultimate control. You don't leave. You don't have the choice, Ms. Pavlon. And whether or not he was going to go to the Philippines to live with other women, he couldn't, in his arrogance and his ego, have someone else tell him it's over. And so he killed her. And the cause and the manner, perhaps unknown exactly, but he killed her. That's what the jury said. So I look at these things and I think to myself, what am I going to do with somebody who does these things, right? Let's talk a little bit more about the offense. Let's talk about count number 2, right? Now, it would be absurd to think that, Mr. Pahl was going to turn himself into authorities and say, I killed her, come and collect her body so it doesn't rot in the woods. But that's what he didn't do, right? Of course he did. He killed her and he left her to rot in the woods as if she was roadkill. And the condition of her body, the debasement of her by leaving her to rot in the woods added insult upon injury, literally and figuratively. So what's happened now? And I want to say something. I want to read, we talk about circumstantial evidence, all right? And this case was a circumstantial case. Let me read this instruction again. It says, and it defines circumstantial evidence according to Wisconsin law. It says, it is not necessary that every fact be proved directly by a witness or an exhibit. A fact may be proved indirectly by circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence is evidence from which a jury may logically find other facts according to common knowledge and experience. Circumstantial evidence is not necessarily better or worse than direct evidence. Either type of evidence can prove a fact. Whether evidence is direct or circumstantial, it must satisfy you beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant committed the offense before you may find the defendant guilty. So what happened in this case? The state presented its case. Ms. Opper, in her opening, said to the jury, have patience. It's going to take a long time. We're going to put the pieces together. You're going to see what happened here. You're going to be able to find Mr. Pahl guilty of these 2 counts, first-degree intentional homicide and hiding a corpse. And lo and behold, that's what happened. The jury has spoken. The jury has spoken clearly and quite honestly, rather succinctly. In a case based on circumstantial evidence. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. Pahl, that this jury deliberated for less than 1 hour. They walked out of here at 3:20. We keep track of this. And at 4:20, I was told that they had a verdict. The jury deliberated for less than 1 hour and found you guilty on both counts. And when I say succinctly, what I'm saying that they did it in very quick fashion without hesitation. And I will tell you this, in my 40 plus years of legal experience, to my recollection, this is the fastest verdict on a first degree intentional homicide that I can recall. So, you know, it wasn't like, hey, maybe Paul did it, maybe Mr. Paul didn't do it. What do you think, or what do you think? I don't know. They came back in less than an hour and they spoke to me, to the state, to you, to the community. Mr. Paul is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt to these offenses. Now, again, your position is that you are not guilty. That is your right, and that is guarded by the Constitution of the United States, and that's fine. I have no qualms with your claim of innocence, not at all. But what I do have concern about is you're characterizing this as a sham trial, manufactured charges. You make light of the system. You believe that the state created evidence, that you're the only victim here, that this is a fascist dictator government, and Opera and her clan know what you mean, and Opera's got a delusional mind. Mr. Paul, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but the things that I see about you, you're the center of the universe. The universe revolves around you. Everybody's wrong. You're the only one that's right. You shake your head in the negative as I say this to you, and that's okay. That's your right to do that. But, sir, what you have exhibited to me demonstrates to me what I consider, and again, I'm not a shrink. This is what I consider to be narcissistic behavior. How can anyone not believe that I'm innocent? How is it that everybody gets it wrong and I'm the only one that gets it right? And what's important about that is that those characteristics, your personality tells me what I have to do. It tells me loud and clear. The jury told me loud and clear in less than an hour. And your statements and your behavior and your attitude tells me loud and clear, as we sit here today, what is the appropriate thing for me to do. And so here's what I perceive. My purpose in imposing a sentence in this case is to incapacitate Matthew Pahl, to prevent him from taking advantage of somebody like Stephanie Pavlons in the future, of hurting her mentally, emotionally, physically, of punching her, kicking her. I mean, her life, she spent her life being berated, bullied, belittled, and beaten by you. And I'm not going to allow that to happen again. It's not going to happen. So what I have to do is incapacitate you and incarcerate you for the maximum amount of time appropriate. And what I also have to do is send a message to the community, the Pavlons family, and the community as a whole, as it pertains to domestic abusers who kill their partners, that we have to incapacitate those people. And in light of that, As to count number 1, I'll impose a sentence of life imprisonment without any eligibility for release to extended supervision. As to count 2, I'm going to impose a term of imprisonment of 12 and a half years with 7.5 years initial confinement and 5 years of extended supervision consecutive to the term of life. I'll require that as a condition of your sentence and prison term, that you pay restitution in the amount of $8,309 to the Pavlon's family for funeral expenses. And although this is a hollow requirement, as a condition of extended supervision, you're not to have any contact with the Pavlon's family. I've already indicated the amount of credit that is due and owing. Is there anything you think I've overlooked or omitted from the state's perspective, Ms. Gordon?
No, Judge.
Mr. Galaviz, anything? All right, you have 20 days to appeal this decision. If you wish to do so, consult with your attorney. He'll assist you in that regard. Mr. Galaviz, anything?
I'm not sure. I don't think Mr. Paul's agreeing to the restitution for what it's worth. And other than that, I have nothing further.
I agree that he indicates that he is, because he believes that he's innocent, that he believes that he shouldn't pay that. But in terms of setting a restitution hearing, I'll need you to advise the court and the state in writing as to whether he believes that amount is inappropriate. I understand he doesn't want to take responsibility for that. I guess that would be the case. So let's set a restitution hearing, all right? In 60 days. And
Judge, I don't think he's disagreeing on the amount. He's stating what you first indicated, that he's innocent, so he shouldn't pay it.
okay, so that he's not asking for a restitution.
Correct.
All right, then I'll set restitution at that amount, $8,309.
Thank you.
And I've given him his approval rights. I believe that's it.
Correct.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good luck.
No, folks. He gone. That slammer is closed. Y'all, that voice that you heard before the applause is supposed to be a jail cell slamming. Let's do it again.
Who did he kill?
Your girlfriend.
Oh, was she the one that was pregnant? Oh, okay.
Well, hello, Miss Diane, Miss Beautiful Doll.
Hello there, Miss Ada.
Oh, haven't seen you around here for years. I hope you will come back again. Whoa.
Oh my. It's been a long day. Been a long couple weeks.
And my instant messaging has been stolen and hacked. I cannot. I've done everything to get it back, and I can't get it back. And I had over 8,000 followers. I looked, and now I'm going to have to start with 0 again.
Well, God can double that and give it back.
Well, I'm praying for it. When are you coming back to the fold, my dear?
Well, I will be back to the fold after 2:30 days.
Well, you know you can come in here without getting a link.
Well, once I've
Sent you an email, you go to StreamYard.com, you do the register in the email, and then you would just click on StreamYard and it pops up and you'll see a little thing that says live that's scheduled. You'll see a little thing and it'll get the title of the live and the time.
Okay, I will try again.
And that you click on that, and then you'll pop up in the bottom here, and I'll see you in the film strip.
Okay,
And
well,
we'll
just try it again. I keep trying. I wind up in the black hole of Facebook, YouTube, somewhere. So I'll figure it out. I don't like them for this.
We've had some new people joining us today. Thank you very much. We are so glad to have you here. I do know we had a deaf person lurking. I don't know if we still do. So you may want to what
Maybe lurking. He's lurking.
so you may want to interpret what I'm saying just in case they're still there. So we've had a bunch of new people hop in. We have had a little weird thing happen, and I figured out what's going on. StreamYard has introduced something called the Mars program.
The what? MARS?
Mm-hmm. And it is a new feature to where you can have a horizontal and then a vertical at the same time. So when you're streaming in multiple formats, you get the vertical and the horizontal. So in YouTube, some people prefer the vertical, some people prefer the horizontal, but it's glitching because, well, anyway. So long story short, like right now, Miss Diane, I can see her wall showing on her left with some weird green thing on her left. And I see the green thing.
No.
No, it's laying up there. It's laying on the
Paper. Oh, I see it. This one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move it.
The wall. When you move, your camera is following you.
I know, and I can't get it to stop.
Go to your right. Lean to your right. Lean. Okay, now go center. There you go. Now it's where it's supposed to be.
It's crazy. It has this new computer with Zoom. It has a frame, and I have it off, but it'll just follow me wherever I feel like I'm being stalked by my camera.
Cat, get off the computer. She sits right on top of the computer, covers the vents, and then this $3,000 plus computer starts to overheat. It's got fans in it. I mean, it's a big computer.
This computer that I bought, Best Buy finally took it back because Apple determined that it was messed up in the hardwire of the computer. Now, Apple said that it can happen, and it does, and it did. And so they took it back, and I'm expecting my new desktop computer today.
Okay, so you have face tracking on. That's what you got to turn off.
Face tracking? Tell me how to do it.
Well, you just go up down there in your little search engine and go face tracking.
Okay, hold on. Up here in my little search engine, where it says...
Now, tomorrow, we are going to continue with the live of the juror trial, the trial of Devin Michaels. Now, Devin Michaels is in a big lump of trouble, and I'm going to do a short with a quick synopsis of that. But we're going to be live at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. That is 3 o'clock your time for that trial. That trial is based out of California. No, New Mexico. Sorry.
How do I turn it off? How it
we were off today. Do you know what? We are still off today, y'all. I didn't expect any of my mods. If we're off today and I decide to hop on, you're still off. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, you know what hopping on that $3,000 computer is going to do to that computer?
Oh, yeah. Why do you think I bust her butt? I didn't do it very often. It must be cool.
I turn it off.
And that's what I'm trying to say is so when this hopped up, I decided to just go live with it. And I'm glad I did. We have 20 of you watching today. Thank you so very much. We will be watching tomorrow the Devin Michaels Love Triangle, where Devin was an Cone Star. She's a Cone Star.
Okay. Cone Star? Oh, that's not good. Yeah. Okay, how do I turn it off?
I'm going to talk while you look at that for a minute.
Sure.
So, the Michael trial is out of Las Vegas. I knew that. I just had a brain cramp. And honey, y'all have a blessed Veterans Day. Thank you so much for hopping on. Anyway, so what's happening with her is that she married this guy and had a baby. They got divorced. She decided to marry somebody else, and he had a stepson. No, wait, I'm sorry. She married a guy who had a stepson. The two of them had a child or children. They got divorced. She then married the stepson, who was about 20 years her junior. And then the father of the stepson and the father of her children and the father-in-law to her stepson, whom was going to move back in with her for whatever reason, she decided to kill him and leave his body in the bed and chop off the head and put the head in a trash can. And the trash took it to the heap, and nobody ever found his head again.
Probably ate it. Tap the screen to show the meeting control.
I am going to show y'all. Y'all may not have seen this. If you have, my apologies. But I want to show you something I did today.
Oh, it's probably beautiful.
Talking to yourself. Let me mute you.
Oh, I just said it's probably beautiful.
All right. So I want to share this with y'all because I truly mean it. And my monkey's decided it's time for her to bang around on the cage. So let me share screen. I'm going to take you and I off. Today, on this Veterans Day, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you to every man and woman who has worn the uniform of our country. Your courage, your sacrifice, and your love for this nation inspires us all. As a veteran's daughter, this day means more than words can say. I grew up watching the quiet strength it takes to serve, not just from the soldier, but from the families that stand behind them. So, to all these families and spouses and parents and children, thank you too. You serve in your own way with patience, love, and endless support. From my heart and from all of us here at Ada K Media, we want to say thank you to our veterans. Thank you to your families. We honor you today and every day. Dad in heaven, thank you. Today, on this Veterans Daddy in heaven. I miss my daddy in heaven. Let me tell you. My daddy in heaven was and is my hero. I mean, he was the apple of my eye.
My daddy has been in heaven over, well, let's see, I was 18 when he died. And I'm 70 now. So how many years is that? A lot.
52.
Yeah. He's been in heaven a long time.
June, I know you were in the military, you and your husband. Thank you so much for your service. She says, I want to wish all veterans and their families a happy Veterans Day. You know, I will say this, veterans are vitally important and their service is precious.
We would not have the freedoms that we have today if it were not for the veterans.
Exactly. But I was going to say that I always, if you ever see a veteran and their spouse with them and you thank them for their service, remember their spouse served along with them. Thank both of them because the sacrifices of the family are great as well as the sacrifice of the veteran themselves. And I remember all too many times my daddy being gone for periods of time. He was not overseas, but he did go for times away from the home. My father was in the Coast Guard, and it's kind of a funny story. He was in the he went through basic and everything, and they put him
Yes,
out on.
he is here.
I'll pick it up for a second. They put him on a cutter, and while he's on the cutter, he spent most of his time holding on to the rails, green as you can be, and up chucking the whole time. And they thought, well, the first trip was bad. Okay, he'll get over it. Well, he never really got over it. Now, before they took him off of the cutters and put him in a different position, he saved a group of fishermen's lives single-handedly. Well, not single-handedly. The shipmates and everything were there, but he himself went into the waters and rescued the people. But unfortunately, that part of his career ended fairly quickly because he was very seasick. It got to the point to where he would get so dehydrated and so ill that he was hospitalized the last time he went out, and they were like, "We're not doing that with you anymore." So they put him in a very important position in the logistics section. He moved up the ranks, but joined the Coast Guard, and then you can't go out on a boat because you're seasick. What a thing to have to go through. I'm all like, that ain't right, boo. That ain't, you should join the Army, Dad. But he loved the Coast Guard, and yeah, he was good soldier. And then he retired and became a teacher. And he taught for over 20. He was in the Coast Guard for, I think, 22 years. He was a teacher about 25 years. He died in his 70s. He was a teacher, a principal, a superintendent. So whatever he did with great passion and great devotion. And he had that military mind. Aww. Yeah, he's got sea legs like nobody's business, honey boo. My daddy couldn't get the sea legs. He tried. Soxy, get off the computer. Hold on a minute. Get. I shut my door. Well, I guess I see why she's on the computer. There's some squirrels right outside the window, and she's all like, "Oh, give me some squirrels." So anyway, I could never do sub. I could go down in them. I've toured them. I've been around in them, but I couldn't live in it. So anyway, y'all, thank you so much for joining us. And please don't forget to subscribe. We are growing. We're a very little channel. We're trying to grow. We appreciate each and every sub. One thing about my channel that I tried to do, and I hope I'm succeeding at, is to create an environment for those of you who feel that in some of the bigger channels you're not even seen, you're not even a number. They're so big that you can't comment and be a part of the conversation. So my goal is to have a channel that it's okay. I'm not 1.2 million plus subscribers. Don't get me wrong. I'd take that. But I do enjoy the fact that you guys have the ability to chat and visit, and it's a comfortable place. So I work very hard, and so do my mods. Mods, I love you. I know I could do this without you, but I couldn't do this without you, if you know what I mean. It's one of those things that it's kind of like, I just don't want to do this without you. So I thank you so much, mods, for your time and energy and everything that you guys do to ensure that this channel is as good as it can be, keeping me from going rabbit trail, my neurodivergent mind. But the mods here are cool. It's a good, safe place for those of us with all abilities. I welcome all abilities here. As you saw, Diane hopped on when she can. When we know we have a deaf person, we do interpreting for the deaf. But we work really hard at keeping this a safe environment for everybody. So thank you so much for being here. Tomorrow, like I said, we are continuing day 5 of Devin Michael's love triangle beheading trial is what I call it. So the thing to look for tomorrow, I'm going to do a quick short, but let me look and see. Yeah. So tomorrow we did almost a whole day of Celebrate. Oh, it was so hard yesterday. Tomorrow, yes, it was so hard yesterday. I hope we're off of that tomorrow. We had a lot of data come in, and that's always not so much fun. It's a little bit boring. But anyway, the good news is I think we're almost done with that, if not done with that. We still are waiting for some key witnesses to pop in and testify, and we're waiting to see if she's going to testify. So please come and join us tomorrow, please. And don't forget to click the little heart thing next to the comments where it says a heart, a smiley face, celebration horn, 100%, whatever. Please click those and engage. We appreciate it. All of you who are what I call the rewatch crew, thank you so much for rewatching, and thank you for all that you do. And feel free to comment. I do go back and look at those comments. I do react to those comments, so you are seen as well. All right, guys, go outside. It's a beautiful day, at least in my neck of the woods. I had a lunch date. Yeah, just a friend. But anyway, I'm going to go outside and get some sun because as you can see, this Irish white girl does not get any sun. So I'm going to go outside. I'm going to enjoy the beautiful day and go touch some grass, y'all. That's right. Go touch some grass, hug a tree, dip the toe in the creek. You don't want to dip the body. It's too cold now. But go enjoy the rest of your day with your family and join us 1:00 Central Standard Time tomorrow for the Devin Michael's trial to continue. Once again, thank you so much. We appreciate you, veterans. You got my heart. Thank you for what you do for our country. And families, thank you for the unwavering support of your loved ones. Till then, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.